So, Kevin, I got to ask you, just what are your initial thoughts of the Rams winning Super Bowl 56?
I thought it was a great game, man. Obviously, I was pulling for the Bengals, but again, I am not upset at the outcome because I'm just happy that certain players were able to hoist up the Lombardi Trophy and become Super Bowl champions. So, I mean, biggest circle here has got to be Matthew Stafford. The trade paid off. They went and did exactly what they needed to do. They gave up their entire future, bringing in Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey, and obviously Matt Stafford, and they hoisted the trophy at the end of the year on their home turf. So, I mean, kudos to them. Matt Stafford had a couple of errant throws. He had two interceptions early on, in which it kind of looked like they were starting to falter, and they really started looking like they were going to kind of slip. But the Rams defense was able to keep that offense in the game, and kept giving Matt Stafford opportunities to go and capitalize. And then of course Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald was a force on this field the entire game between being doubled, tripled, and then of course the Rams defense and their defensive coordinator Raheem was it Robert
Raheem Morris.
Raheem Morris was able to adjust and add a fifth pass rusher so that Aaron Donald can really get that individual coverage, so that Leonard Floyd can get in, so that Von Miller could get in, and that defensive adjustment really made paid dividends. Joe Burrow was sacked 7 times today, was knocked down several more, and the Bengals just were not able to capitalize on that final drive. So I mean, big kudos to several players. I want to give kudos to. First and foremost, Odell Beckham Jr. over to, he was able to overcome the adversity that he had over in Cleveland the last 3 years. Von Miller is able to hoist up a second trophy. Van Jefferson, as a Gator fan, kudos to him. And then, of course, Matthew Stafford, 12 years, man, 12 years in Detroit, zero playoff wins, one of the best quarterbacks in the league for quite some time, and he finally gets a Super Bowl ring. So, I mean, again, there's more players on this team that I really want to give kudos to, but overall, those are going to be the big ones for me specifically. So, I mean, shout out to the Rams for being Super Bowl 56 champions. What a game.
Yeah, all in all, this was a game that lived up to expectations. And Kevin, it's like you said, the Rams went all in for this Super Bowl run when they traded for Matt Stafford, and it paid off entirely with them getting this win over the Bengals by the score of 23-20. All in all, the Rams, they were a team that was up and down to say the least. Throughout most of the year, they had a very good start at the beginning of the year, and then the middle part of the season, they showed some inconsistencies that were quite troubling. And then really, I think that win against Jacksonville, kind of like towards like the last third of the season, that's when they were able to get a little bit more momentum going into the playoffs. And then, even though that they didn't get the best seeding going into this postseason run, it didn't stop them from having a great playoff run. They were able to get some big wins against teams like the Buccaneers. They had a great win against the 49ers in the NFC Championship game, and then it caps it off with a great win against a young but surgent Bengals team, and it just worked out perfectly for them. It's like you said, Kevin. You got to feel for Matt Stafford. It's been in the league for over a decade, played in what I considered like one of the NFL's black holes when it comes to the Detroit Lions. When you look at the Detroit Lions, they're just a team that's just fully incompetent from top to bottom. And Matt Stafford was really that guy that kind of kept them relevant. And one season goes to LA and captures the Super Bowl title after the initial trade took place a year later. It's just absolutely phenomenal when it comes to Matt Stafford and what he was able to provide for the Rams this year. Aaron Donald finally gets that Super Bowl trophy that he was coveting for so long. They had an opportunity a couple years ago against the Patriots. They fell a little bit short, but Aaron Donald was just an absolute monster in that game against the Bengals this weekend. I mean, he made the plays that needed to be made on the last drive of the game on 3rd and 1, was able to stop from the Bengals converting on that 3rd down. And then on the 4th down play, he's able to get past the offensive line, and he's able to get Joe Burrow off his spot and essentially damn near get a sack and force Joe to make an errant pass that turned the ball over on downs. It gave them the win. I mean, Odell Beckham, despite the fact that he got hurt, he was huge in that first half, was able to get a touchdown early on for the Rams. And Cooper Kupp, Super Bowl MVP, well deserved. He came up huge in that critical game-winning touchdown with just a couple minutes left in the fourth quarter. He was money, and there was no way that the Bengals had an answer for him throughout the entire course of the game, and he stepped up when it mattered the most and ended up getting the game-winning touchdowns. The game-winning touchdown, excuse me. He had 2 touchdowns overall. Just that dude's been a monster the entire year, and it's really just because he and Matt Stafford were able to connect with each other consistently throughout the season, and it showed itself once again in the biggest game of the year for them. You know, you got to give a lot of credit to Sean McVay. Sean McVay was really all in on this team. He's one of the youngest Super Bowl head coaches to win one.
He is the youngest.
I mean, the guy's what in his like mid-30s, like 36 or 37 years.
36 years old, bro. He is younger than your boy.
Yeah, it's, you know, the boy that Kevin's referring to is Tom Brady. Tom Brady's 44. So it really kind of goes to show how young Sean McVay is. It's just, all in all, man, you got to give the Rams a bunch of credit. There was a lot of risk associated with, you know, putting this much investment into the team this year. OBJ, Jalen Ramsey, Odell Beckham, just really, I mean, these guys were pivotal pieces for the Rams this year, and it culminates in a Super Bowl championship. So there's not much else I could say other than you got to give the Rams a lot of congrats on the season that they had, and they are well-deserving Super Bowl champions as far as I'm concerned.